Good evening, all stars, you beautiful people. Welcome to a slightly reduced Wednesday night stream. Just the 5 games for us tonight, which is decent given that people have went transfer crazy, which we always like to see. I think there's around 15 deals or 15 players moving across the league. And there's some absolute biggies in there to be going. Daz bringing in Vinny Jr. is going to be really, really interesting. So this is how the league looks at the minute. Castle Miners absolutely flying at the minute and playing the Badgers tonight, which will be our kind of showstopper game. So I think what we will do is if people can just kind of make themselves known that they're here, because we haven't got many games, we're going to have to be really selective over which games we go with. And then without further ado, we've got Robert and Sav who have just landed, and we will go with them first. PPP continue to be a little bit of an enigma in that they kind of usually win one, lose one, and when they win one, they usually score an absolute shitload. Taking 6 points off Dragons this season, so they're absolutely more than capable. This is how Rob goes tonight. He is one of those managers that has done a lot of deals, and we will see how he gets on in terms of tonight. Playing against a Craggy Island side who have a new tactic file with that really, really famous Father Ted line. Sav, to his credit, kind of sticking with that back four. I think he's the only one of us in the league now playing a back four, which is great. To be honest, I'm still gutted that it didn't become a thing in the ODB. Results wise, again, not necessarily at the same extent as PPP, but Craggy Island had a run in the middle of the season or the early part of the season where they were absolutely, smashing everyone and kind of unbeaten in around about 10 games, 11 games, which is really, really good. And then just on the back end of some 0-1s and 2-0s and 0-1s, potentially goals, a little bit of an issue for Mike, but nothing that he would complain about really, because ultimately he is in the top 6 and has been there or thereabouts, but he has scored the fewest goals of that top 6 as it currently stands. Best of luck to both managers, and we'll see how this pans out. Should be a good game this. Both teams are solid and have some absolute match winners, and there is Salah, who scores and then goes into the book, potentially has took his top off after he scored. And Ivan Toney with a half a chance squares it and then puts it wide. Feels very, very black and white heavy here. Craggy Island back four, more than dealing with the two wingers. And there is Salah on a brace. Might have messaged Sav about Salah pre-kickoff, and he may be having second thoughts after this performance, but we shall see how that gets on. A little bit of red and blue, but PPP have been absolutely... yes, they've been absolutely toothless. I think he's been quite quiet for you over the last couple of game weeks as well, hasn't he? And then he has. He got off to a fly and then he's been really quiet and then he's turned up tonight. Anyway, it is what it is. PPP pretty toothless in that first half. A spate of sixes with Koulibaly, and it's an early roll from Rob. Second half side and just not enough of the ball in that middle of the park. Craggy Island really in control. It's an as is from Sav, and Highland, who's been really good for Sav, to be honest. 6 goals and 3 assists. His form over the last 10 games has been really, really good. And an assist from Gavi, who is absolutely phenomenal. And I regret letting him go, but that's by the by. Both managers going as is. Second half side says the PPP, and we'll see if they can muster even half a chance. And there is Gavi, who does put his team 3-0 up, and you'd expect that is game, set, and match from the Craggy Island boys. We'll see what Rob wants to do. Match ratings-wise, again, pretty shocking bar Koulibaly, and condition-wise, nothing massive to write home about. Rob does go... the stupid stream didn't go live. It's because you've been sitting in the chat and didn't refresh it. It doesn't automatically go live. That bit me in the arse the other week. When I was 20 seconds behind on your stream, actually, Daz, that was why. 2 10s on 60 minutes. That is not a usual thing. And we'll see what Sav wants to do. Really high tackle count and not many headers, which tells you that PPP aren't really creating much, being totally honest with you. And they've been absolutely dominant. We'll just see if Sav wants to do anything here. He usually does like to rotate a couple of players when he is ahead. We'll play it Sav from Rob. Just see what Sav wants to do. Just have a little look at how Declan Rice has been. I did have a little bit of a sniff for Rice, and Savage quite understandably said, no chance he is the glue that holds it all together. And I think he's absolutely right. Hakimi with a half a chance. Oh, and there is. Well, you know what, Sav? It's probably a good job it's him and not Salah. But Sean Wally, at 38 years of age, is just kind of keep up with the young blood, I think. It makes Salah look like a spring chicken. I'm guessing it's going to be Lukaku and Højlund into AMC, but we shall see. Bernardo Silva has been all right. Maybe not as spectacular as Gavi, but he's been all right. Or does he go Robin Koch and Silva into AMC, or Gavi into AMC, actually? Lukaku and 3 up top. He's smelling blood. There we go. And we'll roll it to the end. Although bear in mind, Rob did score 4 in the game against Hodgie to win 4-3. And it's a final whistle, really comprehensive, and you're going to be hard pressed to choose a man of the match between Salah and Gavi. I expect Gavi will take it because he played the full 90, and he does indeed with an assist and a goal. And just pretty solid from the Craggy Island boys, who keep themselves in that top 6 and look to pull away from that chasing pack. We're going to save the badges, so we'll go to the Dragons. This is how the Dragons look, more or less as is now, just giving Pedri that little diag. And then we'll go over to the Unicorns. No submission from Smuts, so I just had to, I think I brought Bernal into DMC and Coop Miners into MC as best as I possibly could. Good luck to both. Obviously, good luck, Smuts. See how you get on. Dragons have been inconsistent, but they can. And there is that diagonal onto that diagonal of Pedri coming to benefit. And there is Haaland, puts the Dragons 2-0 up. Esteban misses the target. Dragons creating a few chances here. Donnarumma into the book. That's interesting that he was booked and not a penalty. And Gakpo with a half a chance to kill the game in the first half. Dragons seem to be creating a hell of a lot here. And there is Dumfries. 3-0. Dragons can score when they get going, but they do also miss a hell of a lot of chances. No penalty for the Unicorns. Just want to see what that booking is for Donnarumma. Donnarumma tackled and knocked Isak to the ground. He must have been on a sweep-back keeper duty there. I thought that was going to be a nailed-on penalty. We get half-time. Dragons have created a hell of a lot. Unicorns haven't. And yeah, just a lack of passing and a 4 for the keeper. Who is that keeper? And Denzel Dumfries does have another good game. Condition-wise, Smuts hasn't submitted or any instructions, so I'm going to bring the keeper off, I think. I think that's the only fair thing to do. I'd like somebody to do that for me if my keeper was on a 4. And then Smuts' usual instruction is anyone on a 5 hook, but I cannot hook them all. So I think I've just got to keep that as is. We will get to 60 minutes. Timber in for Canate tonight, who is moving on. Esteban with a half a chance. Haaland with a half a chance. And we get the 60 minutes. And we have a click goal. We have a click goal, which the game seems to absolutely love at the minute. And we will just have it for Gakpo and Goretzka having a good game. And we'll just do Cancelo for Davies. We'll just give Smuts, just check condition. 79s, nothing there. We'll roll it through to full time. Goretzka into the book. Dumfries with a half a chance. Seems to be a block. The Dragon's going to get a fifth. Timber with the obstruction. Pedro tries his luck, and there is Danny Elmo, who makes it 5. Marquinhos into the book. And there is Dumfries injured. I thought about bringing him off for exactly that reason, but we'll see how we get on. Straight swap, nothing more from the Unicorns who aren't there. Nuso does ruin the clean sheet, but that's pretty dominant from the Dragons, who created a hell of a lot of chances. And man of the match performance goes to Haaland and Pedri. Pretty decent with that diag in the middle of the park, and 6 shots, but only the 1 goal. Assists from Danny Olmo and Alphonso Davies before he came off. Over at the Unicorns, again, probably just not good enough. Simeone, who's been pretty good for Smuts, I think, not doing enough. And then the keeper throwing in a 4 and chucking them in the back of the net. Other keeper coming on and doing an 8 definitely did much better. Over to the Vikings versus the Tempestas. Both teams have been active in terms of the transfer deals, but Vikings went as is. And then over to Daz, there was a couple of changes for Daz. Kravitz-Scalia came back in for Yildiz, and Yildiz went onto the bench. Van der Ven in for the substitute, the suspended Upamecano, who is on his way to Dragons. Best of luck to both. This is a pretty big game, given that Dragons and Craggy Island have won, and Daz is just a little bit off the chasing pack, you'd probably say. So Daz win here probably definitely keeps him in the mix, or really does pull Vikings away by 6 points. Still plenty of games to go, but we'll see how we get on. Best of luck to both. And it feels like there's a bit of black and yellow. But there is Kamara, who probably, other than Mbappe and Haaland, has been probably the best striker in the league. Outside of those big 2, certainly outscored Harry Kane and some of the others, Isaac and the likes. We get to half-time, 5 shots on target from the Vikings, and it is 9 goals in around about 19 games, so about 1 and 2, and a couple of man-of-the-match performances in there. He has been absolutely on fire when it comes to the Vikings form, and actually he's had 4 of those 5 shots on target for Bradley Barcola, with an assist as Liverpool fuck about to get him over the line. Over to Dazzler, just not creating enough in there, really. Not creating enough. Middle of the park. Rogers, who I believe is on his way out, and Musiala, who is in there, just not creating enough. Daz keeps the faith. He's only 1 behind. And Jens also gives it an as is. There was a chance there, I think, for Musiala. Rodrigo puts it wide, 55 minutes played. We'll do an early click so we don't get a click goal, or we don't give it the chance to do a click goal. And we'll go over to Daz 6s for Rodrigo and Asielani. Rodrigo is out of the door in that big Vinny Jr. deal. We'll see what Dazzler wants to do. Over at the Vikings HQ, we've still got a 9 for Bradley Barcola, who's having a good game, probably on track to get man of the match by the looks of that. And Kamara, who is leading the way with his goals. Tackles and headers look pretty good, and again, probably an indication as to how quiet they've been, although the Tempestas have created 4 chances there in that second half, in that 15-minute window. It's an as is from Jens, and we'll just give Daz a little while because I expect it's going to be a little bit of a long message. Rogers swap with Rodrigo. Rodrigo off for Yildiz. Swap sides with Kravitz-Scalia. There we go. All right, lovely. Appreciate that, Daz. Nice and concise and really, really clear. And we'll roll to full time. Daz would definitely be taking a point from here, although those away wins are so hard to get in the league. Home team's dominant, as we know. Oh, and Paz with a half a chance setting up Basielani. Feels like there's another goal in this, in Carlos Baleba, who I believe is in the... Is he in the Vinny Jr. deal? He is in the Vinny Jr. deal, so that might just scupper that. It's always a bit of a risk playing a player who you've got a deal lined up with. There we go, Hugo Lawson. There's only 4 minutes left, so we'll see what difference that makes. Paz, who's been excellent for Daz, is definitely trying to get his team back into it. Pavlovic, Rogers, free kick, and the final whistle. And the Vikings do seal a 1-0 win at home. Tempestas, to be fair to them, second half absolutely came on strong, but really, Asiolani was 6 shots and 3 on target. And then everybody else in the team who had a shot not getting it on target is absolutely where that result has happened. Yeah, I think Spud is wanting to go next. We did want to keep it last, but I totally appreciate that he might have bedtime and stuff with the kids. So we will go with this one. Badgers do a couple of little changes. It is McTominay in for Hackney, who goes on to the bench. And these are by far and away the 2 best teams in the league this season. And Dim's just made changes to his substitutes. Dims, can you just give us in fact, I've clicked continue on Badgers. Someone just dropped Dims a text and let him know he's on now, because I did say that we were going to leave it last. So if someone can just give Dims a nudge, or Dims, if you hear me, just give us the okay, bud. I know this game's massive and I don't want to fuck you over like Cinema Gate. So yeah, we'll just wait for an okay from Dims, if that's all right, boys. Excellent. Spot on. Best of luck. Really excited to see how this goes. Getting away games or getting away wins is so difficult, but if there's one team to do it, then it is probably the Miners on the Dimble. Big save from Mike Magnan. And there is Kylian Mbappe, who has been nothing short of incredible. Laniero into the book. And I didn't really want to commentate on that because I was enjoying reading it and taking it in. Pretty even Stevens at half time. Kessel Miners did have that first 20 minutes where they did look strong, but then, as the Badgers usually do at home, they did come on a bit stronger. Assist, there was no assist for the Mbappe goal. And it was a loose ball, a seconds ball. And Tato going as is. Gyökeres is terrifying. He's been on some run of form. 11 goals in 15 games is absolutely incredible. I think that's better than Haaland in terms of goals to games. Dims, just give me the okay with that, bud. I think that's better than Haaland in terms of goals to games. Nuts. Cheers, Dims. And we will see how that goes. Oh, and there is Saka, who has also been equally as good. Yes, yeah. Tato's definitely putting himself about a bit, isn't he? Saka, who has been equally as good, although not necessarily in terms of goals, but he's been amongst this massive run that Dimble's been on, to be honest. Condition-wise, we'll just give the boys a quick view, and then Dims, there's your match stats. Feels like this should be like a game week 26 in Super League, this one, or like a game week 25. That's how big of a game it feels in terms of those top 2 positions. Vitinha, who's been really good, is absolutely running the show in that midfield. Although Tato will be a little bit nervous that the Miners are back into it. Palacios for Holt. And Diag. Love it, Diag. Daz, if you're still watching, mate, you're going to need to try and get a hold of Smuts and work out what yous are doing if Belieber's absolutely crocked, because it means that your deal's not going to be able to go through. So I need yous both to work out what yous are doing. Semenyo for Cunha. And that's all. Yeah, because if it's a biggie for Belieber, then he's either going to have him for free later down the line or go ahead without it. So if you can try and get hold of Smuts and work out what you're doing and just drop us a message, that'd be great. And there is Pacho. Oh, and I felt like Palacios was in there. And there is Mbappe. And the Badgers are blowing this title race wide open with a brilliant performance. And there is Gyökeres. Let's slow it down. Shall we slow it down? Yeah, it depends how long. Depends how long, absolutely. Big save. Have the Castle Miners got one more chance in them? Chimeni with a massive tackle on Gyökeres. This is like a tennis match. There's no defensiveness here from Badgers. And there is the final whistle. What a game that is. Credit to both managers. Felt like the Miners were going to come on and nick it there when they brought it back to ones each. But Kylian Mbappe, who has been phenomenal. That is insane. Nearly a goal a game in competitive champ. That's maximum levels, probably more than maximum levels, to be honest. Over at the Miners, just a couple of performances there that maybe Dims will be a little bit disappointed with. Hincapié and Militao, maybe he's could have won a couple of more headers and tackles at the back. But there ain't no shame in losing away from home, certainly to a side as good as the Badgers. Well done to both. Last game of the evening, we're over at Black Shucks, who, let me just check, they went as is. Pretty sure they went as is, but I just want to double check. It is an as is. GG's Dims, and yeah, no worries, sport. I'll speak to you in a bit, mate. Yeah, it was an as is who Black Shucks have been a little bit up and down, but Dan is a veteran of this now and knows how to keep his patience. Over at the Phoenix 2, who went for this really attacking three behind the striker, which I absolutely love, by the way, which really hasn't came to fruition in terms of results so far. Eze comes in, they've been chasing him for a while, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. And you're only ever one or two results away from being back in the mix, but you probably think that we'll be in media getting a little bit frustrated at how shit some of their players have been, being totally honest with you. Definitely tried to come up with a solution. And there is Leroy Sané, but it's disallowed. Linesman's flags up. A little bit more blue and yellow. Felt a little bit against the run of play. And there it is. And there is Ousmane Dembele, who does put the Phoenix 2 1-0 up going into the halftime break. And they just hit the post there as well on 37 minutes. 41 minutes now. Blue and yellow really coming on strong here. Oh, Cherky had a chance, and then the rebound was to Doué, but I think there was a big save. Oblak got down to save it on the rebound. Oblak must be having a decent game. 7, okay, fair enough, but there was a couple of big saves in there. A lot of yellow cards there. You probably think that's maybe just a little bit of overload in that AMC position. Phoenix 2 ratings really don't look good, but they're 1-0 up at half time, having created 2 less chances and 1 off target. Where's those shots came? So we've got 2 to Dembele. Cherky's had 2 and none on target. So yeah, Phoenix very much on track for a win here, unless there's anything significant that changes. How's Julian Alvarez been? He's been class, hasn't he? Great at that. Nothing from KD and no pre-message, so we will just roll to 60. I have clicked. It's a click goal. I'm really sorry. And we get to 58. As Sav has just texted me back on what Salah's price would be. And I reckon there's been about a 25% premium added on there because he bloody scored a brace tonight. Fuck's sake. But I don't blame you, Sav. Phoenix at 60, nothing condition-wise to worry about. Yeah, maybe just slight worry about the lack of tackles being made in the middle there. Less than half of the tackles being made. It's maybe a little bit of a concern. But if you're playing 1 DMC and 3 up top, or 3 AMCs, then you probably expect that a little bit. Over at the Black Shucks for when Dan looks to this back, there's nothing condition-wise. Even Shea Lacey, who's had his fitness problems, is doing all right, and I can't justify making any subs on his behalf. Phoenix 2 blink first. It is Grealish on for Cherky. Nothing from KD. We'll roll it to the end of the game week, and then I will get deals done straight after. Hodgie has a couple of games in a Daft Cup, so I'll need to play through those as well. And there is De Bruyne. Oh, but it's offside again. Second goal. Alvarez now. Big save from the Phoenix 2 keeper, whose name I can't remember. 78 minutes played. And there is David, who feels very Black. Oh, very Black Shucks heavy. But there is De Jong, who interestingly, again, is another player that I just asked about. And yeah, his price was too rich. A little bit of an issue here in that there's no real natural replacement. So I think what we're going to have to do is I think we're going to have to drop De Bruyne in. And it's definitely not Anthony, definitely not Kudus. It's probably Son. Who plays midfield the better? It's probably Son in midfield, to be honest, in the absence of Dan. Sorry, Dan, if that's not what you would have done, mate. In your absence, I've tried to do my best there. Pot shot on goal. Yellow card. Is there going to be a winner? Big save from Son. Albeit be absolutely fuming with me. And there is a red card for Jan Paul van Hecker. If you let me know what you want to do there, boys. Obviously, KD would usually get a response, which I forgot for Hodgie the other week against Tato, and I really do apologise. You assume it's Jonathan Tah for one of the big three up top and just see it out, but we will see what the boys want to do. And Buemo off for Tah. Tah to ZB. Okay. In the absence of Dan, we won't do any red card changes. And there it is, the final whistle. Blackshock's creating a hell of a lot. Massive amounts there. What's went on there? So many tackles missed in the middle of the park. João Neves has had an absolute stinker. I'm really surprised that's not a 5, to be honest. No shots on target and 10 tackles missed. But yeah, decent point for the Phoenix 2 as they look to rebuild. Brings us to the classifieds tonight. Blackshucks 1, Phoenix 1. Boostertown Badgers 3, Kessel -2, probably one of the best games of the season. That Craggy Island 3, PPP 0, Dragons 5, Unicorns 1, and the Vikings 1, Tempestas 0. Leaves the table looking like this. Kessel Miners now have a 2-point gap, and Tato has a game in hand as the Badgers. Blackshucks now in third on 39 points, although haven't played a game more than Bradford. Bradford on 34 points, who didn't play tonight. Vikings on 21 points with 33. Craggy Island on 32 points, having played 22 with 2 games in hand over the Dragon. The Dragons with 2 games in hand on 31 points. Tempestas with 21 on 27. Little bit of a gap starting to kind of really open up between 9th and the rest. A 10-point gap now between the dotted line, and that would take some coming back from, you would imagine. So you'd think it's probably 8th upward at this point, given, although there's still 18 games to go, I think. So plenty of time. The fixtures on, what day are we on today? Wednesday. The fixtures back to normal with Daz on Sunday after his jollies. Or Bradford Boothstown, which will be a massive game. Craggy Island against Blackshucks, which is a massive game. Hagmore against Tempestas. PPP against Kessel Miners. Dragons against the Vikings. That is going to be a slobber knocker. And the Unicorns against Interloco. Then after that, we go Interloco Vikings, Hagmore Rangers and the Dragons, Kessel Miners and Blackshucks, PPP and Bradford, Tempestas and Boothstown, and the Phoenix 2 in Craggy. I am going to do all deals and get a pack out now, but I just have to navigate Hodgie's Oceanic Cup competition in the interim. Good night and God bless, boys, and I'll see you on the other side.